In this video, we'll go over what event blocking rules are, how they work, and the different scenarios in which you would apply them. So what are event blocking rules? Well, basically, they serve two main functions. If you want to prevent duplicate events or low-value events from polluting your Meta Ads Manager. And the second reason is if you want to make sure that your conversion metrics are super accurate. So there's nothing like bots or page refreshes that are polluting those metrics in your Ads Manager too. There's a couple of other scenarios as well, but they're the main reasons why you might use blocking rules. Some of these rules you'll probably never need to use. Some of them may be a little bit more common, but in general, you should be very careful when using any of these event blocking rules because they will restrict the flow of events from your website back to your ads manager. So it's important to really understand what they do. Overall, Meta can better improve its algorithm the more data that you give it. So the more traffic and information and events that you're sending back to your pixel from your website, the more easy it is for Facebook to find similar customers to those who are on your website. On the flip side of that, if you get a lot of bot traffic on your website and you're sending that event data back to Facebook, it will begin to optimize its algorithm for the wrong actions. The sweet spot between the two is to block obvious junk traffic, so bots, page refreshes, fake clicks, while passing through all of the legitimate conversion events, even those that didn't originally come from Facebook. The reason for this is it gives Meta a clearer picture of who your ideal customer is, and it makes it easier for them to optimize the algorithm and improve your ads based on all of that data that you're sending back. There's three common use cases. There's other scenarios too, but these will be the main scenarios why people would use blocking rules in PixelFlow. The first is to prevent duplicate tracking scripts. So if you have any scripts on your website, for example, Google Tags Manager running alongside PixelFlow, and your Tags Manager is also loading a pixel, you will have your pixel loaded twice because PixelFlow loads both your pixel and your conversions API together so it can deduplicate events properly. But if you're loading your pixel alongside that as well, it's going to create duplicate events. So one of the things you can do with PixelFlow is to block duplicate tracking scripts that are loading Facebook pixels specifically. The second reason is if you want to filter bot traffic and page refreshes, people clicking back and forwards on, say, an order confirmation page, or clear bot traffic. So obviously everyone's websites will get bots. Some of them are good, some of them are more nefarious. Some of them have legitimate use cases like Google Page Crawler. Sometimes a Facebook ad crawler will come to your website. If you would like to block those bots and not send that information back to your Meta Ads Manager, that's possible too. The final reason, and this is one of the most rare use cases, we suggest that you use this with caution, is if you only want to send back events that can be traced back to an original Facebook ad campaign. Like we said previously, if you aren't sending a lot of information back to Meta, it makes it more difficult for Meta to optimize its algorithm because it doesn't have enough data to find similar customers based on those that you have. If you're only sending back events that have originally come from a Facebook ad campaign, it will make your ad reporting a lot more accurate. But like I said, will have the downside of Facebook will find it more difficult to scale your campaigns overall. So where do you find blocking rules? You can find them in the PixelFlow dashboard in Event Blocking Rules. You can click on Add Rule, and it will show you the list of different blocking rules that are here. We'll go through each section separately so you can understand how everything works. So the first part you need to look at is the events. So do you want the blocking rule to apply to every event type on your website, which is global, or do you want to specify a specific event that you would like this rule to apply to? The way rules work is global rules will apply to everything, but specific rules will override the actual rules specific to that event. For example, if you have a global rule that was block of same URL, and you had a specific rule for add to cart, and you wanted that to block of same refer, this would override the global rule for add to cart specifically. The next section of blocking rules is the actual conditions. So we'll go through these in a minute and I'll explain exactly what each of them do. The last part is the time interval. This lets you select how long you would like the blocking rule to apply for in the specific scenario. For example, if you wanted to block if same session, you would make the session 24 hours and it would block add to carts for the same session. So multiple add to carts wouldn't happen in the same session for 24 hours. And after that, the rule could happen again. So we'll go through each of these blocking conditions separately and explain what the use cases are for them. In the help articles, we have a quick reference guide for the blocking rules. It explains each blocking rule and what it does in sort of plain English, basically. So the first one is block if no meta click ID, so fbclid. You'll see that in the URL from anyone who came from a Facebook ad. So what this does is it will only track events from people who originally came from a Facebook ad and send that data back to your ads manager. It filters out all other traffic and won't send that information back to Meta. Now, if you were to select block if no meta click ID for lead event, for example, that would only apply to specifically lead events and everything else would still be sent back. The next rule is block if no URL query parameters. In certain situations, you may have dynamic page URLs. So if somebody, for example, was redirected from a Calendly booking page and the page URL was dynamically created, so it put in, say, for example, the UTM source or the person's name, phone number, etc. into the URL, you can block that event unless there's additional specific URL parameters that should be in it that are actually missing. So how you would do that is select block if no URL query parameters for, again, let's say lead event, and click on add rules. So all lead events will not happen unless there are additional URL parameters that are dynamically added to the URL. The next one is block duplicate events from the same session. This stops the same event happening multiple times during a single session. If we go back to the blocking rules and select add to cart, if we add block if same session, one user could only send an add to cart event once within 24 hours, once we add that rule. Block duplicate events from same URL and block duplicate events from same refer we'll take a look at together because these are usually used in combination with each other. The first one is to block if the same URL. So this will block the event if the current page is the exact same. So for example, if somebody comes from Google, triggers a event on yoursite.com/page 1, then later comes from Facebook, triggers the exact same event on the same page, it will block that event. Doesn't matter where they came from originally, but it will block the event if it happens on the exact same page. So the use case for this will be prevent duplicate page view events on landing pages if a user comes from one ad campaign and then comes back later again from the same ad campaign or a different location. Same refer will block if the previous page matches. So for example, if somebody comes from google.com to a specific page on your site, triggers an event, and then goes back to Google, and then comes to a different page on your website from Google or from the same location originally, that will prevent multiple page visits from the same ad click or the same original location from triggering the same event multiple times. So the difference between the two is that the same URL is repeated visits to the same page or destination on your website. Same refer is repeated traffic from the same source. So we would suggest combining the two for a more strict deduplication. The reason for this is, for example, if you had an e-commerce checkout page and you wanted to prevent duplicate initiate checkout events when somebody goes back and forth throughout your checkout, that will be how you would use it. The final blocking rule is block duplicate events from third-party scripts. So like we mentioned previously, PixelFlow is able to block events from being triggered by other Facebook pixel scripts on your website. This is a powerful tool, and the reason why we implemented it is some platforms will automatically send Facebook events, which you don't want because that will pollute your ads data, and if it creates duplicate events, it's harder to scale your campaigns. The other reason is sometimes you may have a script on your website. It could be Google Tags Manager. You don't actually know what's in it because somebody else set it up for you. You just want to make sure that only PixelFlow is triggering and sending events. This is how you would do that. So you would block duplicate events from third-party scripts. That's a quick overview of how blocking rules work and the different reasons why you would use them. Overall, like I mentioned, be careful when you're using them, understand the different reasons why you would use them. And in general, the more data that you can send back to your Facebook ads manager, the better it's going to be able to optimize the algorithm to increase your sales and conversions on your website.